Hello everyone, and welcome to my stream of day 8 in the 100 days of code challenge. Let me remind you what I'm working on. I'm working on a one-page web app in React. This is just a simple web app where a user will be able to input some text, then encrypt it, then see the result of the encryption. Or users will be able to also make other transforms. Let me show you the spec I created first day. Here, I'm using this as a reference, although I'm actually using a different UI framework, so it will look a little differently. I'm using Material UI, which is using Google's material design language, so it will look a little differently, but still we will still have same three panels: input panel, transforms panel, output panel. In the input panel, user will be able to enter something. Then in the transforms panel, users will be able to select that transforms. For example, here we see AES encryption. And in the output panel, we will see the result of the encryption. Okay. Now, first day I created this spec. Then I set up React project. I set up Cypress tests and Travis CI. Let me start everything. First, I'm starting my React app. And also immediately I'm starting my Cypress tests. Today I was planning to work on this plus button, which will add another transform. Here, I added this into the progress. I actually haven't added this button. I actually didn't even add this to the test, so let's first check our Cypress tests. Where we check the layout, that all the layout elements are present in this test. So somewhere here we should add a test to check if the plus button is present. Okay, so just now React app has been built. Now it's starting. I think this is that was from yesterday, and the window I closed. And also Cypress also started. Yeah, all our tests ran fine. So what I want to do first is to add a button here to add another transform element. Also, yesterday I set up redux, but I don't have actually these transforms inside of the redux. And maybe we want to change the background to something else, because I think this doesn't look right with the current. What is this? With current element. Data style editor. Okay, so maybe we can change background color. Background color to gray. Will it look better if we said gray? Or maybe not exactly gray, but something like this. Now, what do you think? I think it will look a little better if we set background like this. This is light gray. Yeah, I would set background to this light gray. Since we're using CSS and JS here, the correct way would be to do this inside JS use with styles. Use styles and define here the styles object. For example, app style, or just app maybe. And here we can define background color light gray. Or actually, we can use background color. This is just the same. Then we get classes here from use styles, and then we apply it here. It's one argument but got 0. Okay, make styles. I used the wrong thing here. With styles is a different thing. It returns a function which has to be called on a component. So use styles is the correct way to do this here. So yeah, okay, now it changed. Now we have this light gray background. I think this looks fine. What now? Now let us create this button which we are missing. This button, let me show you which button I mean. This plus button. So let's Google Material UI first for ways to create this button. Components, inputs. I see buttons here. Maybe this is what we need. These are just normal buttons. That's not what we need. Text buttons. This is just text looking like buttons. So if we wanted to use it. Grouped buttons, if we want to group multiple buttons into a single group. We could use this. So much code, oh god. Okay, split button. Float in action buttons. Okay, here we actually just found a plus button which we could use. Let's find how to use this button. Okay, delete icon, add, edit, delete, delete. I think this is this add button. Classes fab. I don't get it how they create this first button. Add icon. Okay, that's how. Okay, we need to import this fab and add icon. And we need to do this inside of the transform element component. I think I haven't committed yesterday. Yeah, I forgot to commit yesterday, so let's do this just now. Day 7 update. Okay. Now let's make changes to this transform element component. No, not this one. We need actually a separate component for the add button. So add transform element button. And here you remember that we created a snippet to create new React components. And transform element button. But that snippet now we can improve. Now we can improve that snippet because you remember that in the input panel we actually added now many redux related stuff, a lot of redux related stuff. So let us go to our snippets. I'm reminding you, you can go to snippets by clicking file, then preferences, then user snippets. And here you can select, for example, TypeScript React.json. These are snippets only for TypeScript and only when TypeScript is used in React. Here are our snippets. I would add to them something. First of all, the props. And then also these things, all these Redux related things. So I would start with where is actually Redux? I'm not seeing here. I would start with adding connect up top. To add these import connect on top. And the rest, let me use regular exploration just like I showed you before, but now I will show you a shorter version of that one. I think this one will work just as well. But first, let us change these to escape, because we have to escape it for this file, you see, because here we have every line in double quotes. So we have to escape. each of these. And now select everything, and we want double quotes on every side of every line. So we get the contents of capture group, which is this, and this means basically anything. Dot means any character, and star means any number of times. So this basically means anything any number of times, which means basically anything. So, and it matches only a single line. So basically this matches any line. And braces, round brackets, they show to capture all this text inside capture group 1. Then we use contents of this capture group, which is whole text in the current line, and we insert same text which we matched, but we add also double quotes at the start and at the end of it. Oh, also we will want commas. Yeah, you see, that's what happened, and that's what I will need to use. These map state to props. Actually, first input interface component. This first, because these are the props. Only thing is, this will be the component name here. And we don't really need any specific component defined here. React FC, and these props. This props name will also go here. And here. Okay, these are the props, and now functions which we need to call to connect to redux state. And okay, I made some additions to the component creation snippet to be able to create it quickly. I think this should be fine. I now need to return input snippet into its original form. I'm just using undo for this. Nothing magical. Yeah, I think this is good. So now let me use these snippets to create a component here. RFC, React Functional Component, right? Which we call add transform element button. Component. Okay, this shouldn't really be there. Let me clear a little. Because this function is specific to the input component, it shouldn't really be inside this snippet. Okay, I think now it's working pretty well, actually. Let us now add our button from here. So first we need to import this fab and add icon from material UI. Now that we got this, we'll have the add button here. This will be the add button. What this fab component, I wonder? Fab extend button base. So this is like some button. Okay. Some button and classes, they provide classes, then they provide styles for us here. Cannot find module material UI icons add. I think we might need to install these modules separately. Yarn add material dash UI icons. Make styles. Let us also import make styles. And get our CSS classes from these styles, which we just set. So here we set some styles in CSS, using CSS in JS. Then we, well, create styles also should be here. Create styles. Then we are able to use every key of this object we provide here as the class name. So this key will contain class name applying this CSS. Okay. So now we added this button. Now that we added this button, I think what is this? Was it, did it install? There appears to be trouble with your network connection, it says. I don't know, there wasn't any trouble just now. Can I try it again? Let me check if this material UI icons actually exists. Yeah, it does exist. I don't get it. No quick fixes available. Yeah. Somehow it's not installing this up to the end. I don't know what to do here. How can this be? I don't know, let me try to do this inside. I just will try to do npm install. Will this work? Seriously? I don't know. I will try connecting to a proxy through a VPN of mine. So it will disconnect now for a second. Okay, no, it's still not working. I don't understand this. Yeah, it might be that this package is too big, as they're saying, so I will try to call it again with network timeout parameter. Because same thing happens here, I see. Material UI icons. Let's try again. Okay, well, it's trying. I will try to get on with everything. Okay, so here also I don't think we need state here exactly, because who knows which types might be here, we don't know. So we shouldn't assume that we have type state anywhere. Although we do. here. And what we will want to do is we will want to call a function on click. On click, we will want to call a function which will add another transform element. So that's what we call it, add transform. A function which takes transform type. I think we don't even transport type because we only need empty transform. Add empty transform. Okay, so on click we just call this function from props, add empty transform. And what this function does, we will define here. Add empty transform. We dispatch. Yeah, okay, where are the... No, still it's not downloading that package. I don't know. That appears to be trouble with your network connection. I'm trying to resolve this issue with installing the module, the Material UI icons module. Okay, change in registry. Let me try change in registry. You see, they're having this issue with the exact same package with the Material UI icons also. This can't be good. Okay, that's what I wanted to do too. Remove node modules and the yarn thing and the yarn.log file. And this is what you should try doing. Okay, while it's doing it, let us check. Let's first check if it fixes it this time, and if it doesn't, then we will delete node modules and yarn.lock. Okay, color primary area label add class name class is fab. Okay, what is this issue declaration or statement expected? What are you expecting? Okay, this one should be like this. Okay, I think it installed. Yeah, this time it installed. Okay, nice. So now when we call this add empty transform, we send an action. Let's define another action which we can send. We can call it transform added. Transform added. So we can send these actions. Oops. Yeah. Wait. It opened automatically. Somehow I don't know why it actually transform added. And empty data. Okay. Now that we send this action, we need to go to the reducer. And the reducer, you remember that we have state input, output, and also we should have here transforms. So I would also do export transform data. And here for now we'll just have transform type. Okay. Export interface. State. So here we might have transforms. Which will contain a list of transforms, of course. Array of this, of transform data, which means we will need to change default state in the reducer here. It should return a state, right? Which means that transforms here. I don't know how this works. It should return a state, right? State transforms. So this is the default state. That is the state before anything is there. So default state will have just none. Type none will have, which means empty. We'll have just one empty transform. Now what will happen when we receive action transform added? All we will do is just to add another transform here. Transform transforms push, and its type is action data type. So here we would need to select this type. We set this type to transform type will be none also. Okay, so maybe we might have inside this also is action state. maybe we might have here also transforms.ts, and instead of having this here, export const transform types. So we have a list of all transform types. Okay, none. This is one way. Or maybe we might want to have a type. Yeah, but then we won't be able to use, yeah, I think we could use a type like this. None or EES. What do you think? I could try doing this. Yeah, transform data we need now to import. And here, transform type. Maybe we might have it like this. So this might be either none or AES currently. Yeah, but what I don't like about this is that I can just transform type, I can just use it here. Then, okay, let's leave it at that for now. Transform edit, we dispatch this as none. Now you want to actually display all the transforms which are in the state. Here now we're just showing some random transform. Now we will instead display all transforms which are in the state. For this, first of all, we need redux. We need to connect redux here. We haven't connected this element to redux still. Haven't connected. Okay, no need to do this on every load, please. Now when if compilation fails, now browser somehow comes to the front. That's why you're seeing it. Okay, it's 42 minutes now, so we have about 20 minutes more. Let us finish this button. Actions, actually we don't need this section here. No, why this happens? I don't know, I just close it for now. Use styles, add transform element button component props. We need this one. We'll call it differently, of course. We'll call it transform element component props. I think just state is enough for now. return state, and here also we don't really need anything. Cannot find name connect, yeah, because we haven't exported it. Import connect from React Redux. Okay. Now it is connected to Redux. You see how much time it took. That's why we created a snippet. So all new components will be created immediately with the Redux there. Now let's look at what we have here. Let's look. So this button should be here after all the components like this, but these components, instead of having one component predefined here, we will create the number of components required by the components in the state, by the transforms in the state. So for this we are taking state. You see props.state. Here we created transforms. You remember? Now we are using map function, which calls next function for every element. So now this closure, which is the argument to map, will be called for every element, and then the result of this will be returned here. So for every transform that we have, transform data, I can call it transform, and type it has really transform data. I don't know, is it somehow exported anywhere? No, it's not exported, and I don't understand why isn't it imported automatically, because it should have taken it from here. Maybe it should have the same file name, transform data ts. What if I did it transform data? No, I don't think it has to have the same name, but somehow it's not taking this element. Oh, now it took. Okay, so for each transform data we call this function, which should return us the tsx, the HTML like thing which we want to show here, which is this actually. So we'll just do it simply. We'll just simply do this. Okay. For every transform we will create this element, and then at the end we add this add transform element button component, and after that we add a button. Oh, hold on, what have I done? Let's first create a div, because this card, this all should have been inside. So this card should have been inside here. I just created multiple drop downs inside the card, so what we would see is a card with multiple drop downs. now we'll see multiple cards for each transform. And then head button. Let's see what happened. The keywords line 37 expected an assignment of function call and instead saw an expression. Line 37. Yeah, I think we are missing here this. No. Okay, let me do it like this. This and this, and we return or we could just do this. Yeah. Here we can see a plus button, but it is in the wrong place. We instead want them all to align horizontally one after another. I'm not sure how what probably I could do this in CSS, just create a flex box, but probably they have some layout things for this. Maybe container. And centers your content horizontally, the most basic layout element. That's probably not what we need. I don't really see a way of doing this easily. Here, for example, this grid list. How is it made? So grid list. Okay, you said here cell height and columns, right? Can we set rows too? I wonder. We set just one row and any number of columns. Will this work? Okay, let me try doing box. Just do box. What's gonna happen if I do box? Nothing will happen. And now let's try grid list. Okay, this seems better. Although I don't understand still how to make some things here. Okay, maybe grid is what we need actually. Auto layout. The auto layout makes the items equitably share the available space. That also means you can set the width of one item and the others will automatically resize around it. Okay, let's try to do just grid. I think what we need is to set it somehow, make it horizontal. Direction column. Okay, direction. We can set direction here. Row. No, it can't be. If it's direction row, it shouldn't be showing this, definitely. Let's look quickly at this thing. UI grid. Grid inside it contains two elements. They think is this a flex box? No, it's not a flex box. So if it's not a flex box, how is it saying that it's using flex box here? Okay, let's check this auto layout thing. Okay, honestly don't have time to try to understand the cryptic layout elements, so I will just use CSS for this one. Maybe later I will check the documentation and change it. What if I do this container? It says, let me just one last time try to make it a container. Yeah, now something is happening, I think. Something is happening. still somehow I think not enough is happening. Container. Okay, let it stay that. And I would also want this button moved to the center, of course, but I think probably not today. Yeah, that will look fine. So let us hide 75% for the grid. Okay, so let's create a style. Const use styles, make styles, grid, height 75%, we'll set it. Class name, class is grid. Okay, sorry, it was already there. I shouldn't have done that. We already have it here. Cannot declare blocks code variable use styles. Where do you see that one? Yeah, I think it just didn't take latest changes. Somehow it happens sometimes. Yeah. Now, yeah, I totally forgot that I was meaning to write a test in the beginning, but I didn't do that. So inside of this transform element component, inside of this TRS element component, so we need to make sure that the plus button is there. So we need to call this plus button. We should give it some class name so we can select it in the test at least. TRS add transform button. Should be visible, right? Should be visible. And we need to make sure that there is just one element like this, TRS transforms element. So I get TRS transforms element should have length 1. Okay, let's try running this test again. What's this? Class name string is not assignable today. What? Right, we don't really have the class name because it's our own component, and everything all the attributes we type here will not go to the HTML attributes, but it will instead go to our component props. And since we don't have a prop with such name as class name, it didn't go there. So I can probably just add it here instead. Yeah, here. Yeah, it works. Now let's try clicking this button and make sure it creates another element. So this is, by the way, our test case 8. When the user clicks the plus button and the transforms panel, an empty transform element should appear in its place, and the plus button should move to the right? So that's what we will do. We'll just click this button, which we just make sure is visible. Just click this button, and then make sure that we have two transform elements, right? So let's try doing this. Yeah, it happened, you see. Yeah, here we click a button, and another transform element appears, right? So how this happens? Remember that when we click this button, an action is sent to the redux, which is handled by the reducer, and then another transform object is added to the state, right? So once this object is added to the state, then this transforms component function, this transform element component function, is ran again, and when it is ran, it is connected to redux, so all these properties are ran too, and when these not properties, all these functions are run too, and once they run, we will have this new state in our props, because this function will be called with this state here inside the props. So now that we have new state, we'll have new lists of transforms, and now this map function will actually be called twice. Oh no, not this map function, this argument of the map function, this closure, will be called twice because there are two elements in the transforms array now, and for each call it will return a new card, so we'll have two cards. That's how it works. And I would probably want this centered somehow. Actually, with CSS I think I even know how to style it. The point is, I already have enough experience to tell you how this is styled with CSS. With CSS I'm pretty sure it's styled by using something like align items maybe center. Yes, yeah, you see, now it's in the center. But there should be a way of doing this using their own things. Maybe actually it's even called same. Let me check what they have here, what attributes they have here. Oh, align items, you see, they actually do have this center. Okay, since they have this, then yeah, we'll have multiple transforms now. Okay, this took quite some time. Anyway, I'll be ending this stream. Thank you for watching. If you liked this stream, subscribe to my channel. If you watch it at a record, then you should see a subscribe button in the center. Likes, comments, questions are much appreciated. Thank you.